Investigators began surveillance. Joseph James DeAngelo was living in Citrus Heights, California. He was retired. He lived an ordinary suburban life. Neighbors described him as quiet. Nothing about his daily routine suggested he had been the target of one of the largest manhunts in California history. But investigators needed more than suspicion. They needed DNA. Without alerting DeAngelo, detectives collected items he had discarded in public. Those samples were compared with DNA preserved from the crime scenes. The results matched. The genetic profile investigators had protected for decades belonged to one man. After years of uncertainty, the evidence finally had a name. The investigation accelerated. Search warrants were prepared. Teams coordinated across multiple agencies. Every step was planned to preserve evidence and ensure a safe arrest. On the morning of April 24, 2018, officers moved in. DeAngelo was taken into custody outside his home without incident. He was 72 years old. The search that had lasted more than 40 years was over, but another challenge remained. Investigators now had to present decades of evidence in court. Would the victims finally hear the man behind the crimes answer for what had happened? News of the arrest spread quickly. For many survivors, the announcement was difficult to process. Some had waited most of their adult lives for this moment. Others had believed it would never come. The man accused of committing the crimes had once served as a police officer. That fact added another layer to a case already defined by contradiction. In 2020, Joseph James DeAngelo pleaded guilty to multiple counts of murder and admitted responsibility for numerous additional crimes as part of a negotiated resolution that spared victims and families from lengthy trials. During the sentencing hearings, survivors and relatives addressed the court. They described decades shaped by fear, interrupted careers, broken relationships, sleepless nights, lives divided into two parts, before the crimes and after them. DeAngelo spoke briefly. His statement offered little explanation, no detailed account, no meaningful insight into motive. The questions that had haunted investigators for decades remained largely unanswered. The identity of the offender had been confirmed. The reasons behind the crimes remained far less clear. The Golden State Killer investigation changed criminal investigations across the United States. It demonstrated that forensic genealogy could identify suspects who had never entered a criminal DNA database. The technique has since been used in numerous cold cases. It has also raised continuing debates about genetic privacy, public genealogy databases, and the balance between investigative tools and personal information. For the victims and their families, no scientific breakthrough could erase what had happened. Time had moved forward. The memories had not. Some found relief in knowing the case was solved. Others continued living with questions that no court proceeding could answer. Closure is not always a single moment. Sometimes it is simply the end of uncertainty. Thank you for watching Last Known. Some cases end with an arrest. Others end with a conviction. The rarest cases change the way investigations are conducted for generations. The Golden State Killer case did all three, and it leaves one final question. If one of the most elusive offenders in American history was identified because of a family tree, how many other cold cases are only one breakthrough away from being solved?